I'm gonna be discussing lesson 15, connecting controllers and models. So yeah, basically, um, created a subscribers controller.js, which is gonna handle specific routings that we've set in our main.js. Um, and basically, they handle the routings and they in within the functions using find to find the data, and then it renders that data as EJS templates in the front end after requests are made, and it renders that as a response. So that's what the subscribers controller.js is for. It has those functions. So firstly, I'm gonna talk about main.js, the code in here. So here I've imported Mongoose for the models to create the models. I've imported the subscriber um, file which has the model that we need for the structure of our data, right? Which is here, and then I've imported within this variable subscriber controller imported subscribers controller, um, which is the controller that handles the routings set in our main.js, which is what I wanna touch on first. So I'm gonna talk about this here. Let's start here by app.get. So this is a get request route that is made, where when a user accesses this URL link subscribers, a request is made. So as you can see in this third parameter, we have request and response. So a request is made to the server when you access this link, and then of course there's a response that we expect to receive. But at first, when you access that, now you can use subscriber controller. So it accesses subscriber controller, then get all subscribers, which is a function in subscribers controller. So let's talk about that function. So over here, get all subscribers is basically handling this route. So here's get all subscribers. So over here we have a callback function with response here, and in this function we're basically using subscriber.find to basically search for all the data for all the subscribers in the subscribers documents in our database, right? So we're searching for that data. Once that data is found, right, this function is basically executed. So when that data is found, then this callback function is basically executed. Then as a response, the subscribers.ejs, which is the template, will be rendered. This template shows a list of all the subscribers that we have found within the database, right? So that is rendered right in this block of code. So subscribers.ejs is basically here. This template will be shown in the front end, because using for each, it basically shows a list of all the subscribers in the database. So name and email of those subscribers are shown. So that's rendered after the data is found. So basically, as soon as we click subscribers, then it shows the subscribers over here in the front end, because that data is found and it renders that page here. So that's how that routing works, and this controller handles it. But mainly touching on this here, this is a promise block of code where if this is found, then this is basically executed, right? The then function. But let's say this render doesn't take place, right? If that doesn't take place, or if the subscribers.ejs, which is here, is not found, nothing can be rendered. So an error will be shown. So it's gonna log a specific error, that the page cannot be accessed or cannot be found. And then at the end, it states that the promise is completed, which is this whole thing here. Then moving on to the next URL route. Here we have contact, which basically is over here. When we click contact, it takes us to this page. So contact, as soon as you access this, the request is made, of course, and we're able to access subscriber controller. Then this function in subscriber controllers, get subscription page. So get subscription page is obviously as a response, it will render the contact page. That contact page is basically this contact.ejs over here, which is basically displayed in the front end over here. Here, this is the contact.ejs, and that's displayed here in the front end. So there's also a post request route that was also created here, right? So here, when a post request is made to the server, this is mainly for the subscription, right? To subscribe to to basically subscribe to the recipe application. So it's handled by a post request. So the function that handles this post request is save subscriber. So that's the controller that handles it, which is over here. So basically, a request is made. As soon as that request is made, that's specifically when we fill in the form, right? So we're here on this page. As soon as we fill in this form, then that post request is made. So what happens is there's a callback function here which has request and response as parameters. So an instance is basically created, right, called new subscriber, and basically within it there's an object which has name, email, and zip code as keys, and as values or as parameters that hold those values, we have the name, email, and zip code, which is stored as bodies. The reason it's stored as bodies is so that it can be displayed as data in the front end. So as soon as the data, right, so this is saved, right, in the database, what happens is there's a promise there's a promise that is made. So as soon as it's saved, then as a response, we render the thanks.ejs template page, which is over here. So thank you for submitting. That's what happens when you make the post request to the server. So as soon as that is done, the response that you get after that post request is this template. So let's see. As soon as I put my details there, I made a post request immediately, and then it takes me to the thank you page, which is what I showed over here. This is the thank you page. Um, so when that post request is made, right, what happens is this dot save function is basically executed, and what it does is it saves that data that I've inputted in my post request. It saves that data, right, and stores it in the database. Um, and then once it's in that database, then it's basically saved there. So if I um, refresh here, I can see the data that I literally just put in now. As you can see, the name, email, and the zip code. That data is stored in the subscribers document over here. That's because of this dot save function. And like I was saying now, as soon as um that save function is done and that data is saved, then it renders the thank you message in the front end. But if the save function is not done, so if the data is not saved and the message is not rendered, then this catch block over here, um basically as a response it will just send an error in the front end basically. So let's say I change this, right? um and I try to access the page, right? So I try to save data, access the page. This error message is given. Reason being is because it cannot find the thank you page that it needs to render. So no rendering is happening to the front end. So it will just log, or it will send um as a response it will send an error message to the front end basically. So that's basically how um the subscribers controller.js, that's basically how the functions handle the routings that are set over here, and how it works with the database, how it finds the data from the database as well, and displays that data in the front end as well. um, Another thing we can see is, yeah, basically when I, let's fix this. So basically when I go to subscribers, now I can see all those subscribers um in a list in the front end over here. Because like I said earlier, as soon as I access that specific link, which is subscribers, then this get all subscribers function is basically called, and we know that it handles that route and it finds that data in the database, and then it renders all the subscribers in the front end, which is this page over here. So yeah, that is a summary of lesson 15.